Rick is a big personality. You know, he wasn't born in Texas, but you swear he's a Texan.
My first memory of Rick is taking him to meet Boone Pickens. You know, I mean, little did you know that you're really, as far as hunting and conservation concerned, you're just at the, you know, you're at the Yankee Stadium, one of the great moments in the history of conservation. I don't know where quail would be without Boone Pickens and Rick Snipes, but I'm sure glad we're not going to have to get that question answered.
He is very focused.
All right, load him up. We'll go again.
He is very energetic, and I think that resolve comes from the fact that he came from North Carolina, and he watched the quail populations disappear in his home state. And when he moved to West Texas, which he often refers to as the Alamo of quail conservation, he said, "Not on my watch. It's not going to happen here."
Bird, go. Got it?
Rick moved from North Carolina because he'd born quail hunting over in that country, and that country is just devoid of quail anymore, so he went west young man.
It was just open country and wild birds. The fascination of finding those birds in this kind of country is what hooked me initially.
Selling his business, a successful business in the Carolinas, relocating to a suburb of Swenson, Texas, which is a suburb of Espermont, which still people don't know where it is.
It was more of a mutual, what do you think? What do you think? Don't you think you'd like to live out here? Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
Of course, his wife is just unbelievable, you know, to move from the society of North Carolina to Espermont, Texas.
Let's go. My bags are packed. That's exactly what it was.
That'd been a trip I'd been taking by myself. I promise you.
To build a dream ranch in a spot that he'd been hunting for years, but felt like if he moved on site, he could personally get involved with every project, with every bit of land, and then build out the ideal place to hunt quail.
We're going to South Bend, Raul?
He's done everything he could to tweak the knobs to make every square inch of that ranch usable by quail, and that's the key to quail management.
He's the ultimate quail aficionado. I mean, he runs all of his own equipment, trains his own bird dogs. He does it all himself, and I don't know anyone else that does that to the extent that Rick does.
My goal was to have every square foot of this ranch be quail habitat. And I wanted to be able to take my friends hunting and have them see dogs, have them have beautiful scenery, have them enjoy themselves and be in beautiful country all day long. All of those goals of making the place a beautiful place to hunt also made it a better place for quail.
Oh, it's heaven. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. It's the Augusta of quail ranches.
Different elements of quail hunting attracted me. The fact that something's always happening, something's moving. And also, you had to have a little skill to shoot the bird.
Rick Snipes is unquestionably the best wing shooter I've ever seen. You know, it can be a little intimidating as a hunter to go side by side with this guy, but he makes you better when you do something great. Boy, you feel like you're king of the world because he's so free to compliment and so quick to tell you how good you are, even though you know you can't even carry his shell bag.
And you know, if we're bird hunters, we really don't hunt birds. I mean, we hunt the dogs that hunt the birds. And I think the dogs fascinated me.
Rick feels like that a puppy should be a puppy, just like I guess a child should be a child.
He lets them play for a year or a year and a half before they even point a covey.
And his dogs have no equal. They're just the best that I've ever seen, period.
I think the dogs that you have so much reflect the time in your life that you had them. You know, and so probably the greatest of all dogs for me would have been Brisket. And I had him in started in my early 30s, and he lived 12 years. And he saw me through the rough beginnings, and I learned a lot by going hunting with him.
With his leadership in the Rolling Plains Quail Research Foundation and all of his involvement and all the time that he spends trying to improve conditions for quail hunting and create more quail for people to go out and hunt in the future, and he's giving back.
Our whole goal has not been to make this thing perfect, but to give the guy who wants to exert some influence on his ranch the chance to do so. There are some people in the quail hunting community who are perfectly content with having birds when it rains and not having birds when it doesn't. To me, that's never been acceptable.
He is laying down a future for my kids and my grandkids, for them to go out and be able to experience something that he was fortunate enough to experience.
Well, I think that's his whole motivation, that he's going to leave it better than he found it, a lot better than he found it.
It's just something he did so naturally that I guess he just doesn't feel like he should get to work for it. I think it's very special to him. Very.
While I'm sitting here and I'm being honored, the real honor goes to the people who are sitting in the audience. I've often thought that the perfect symbol for this award would be a mirror where I could hold it up and people could see in it their own face and understand who the forces behind this deal really are. And it's the guys at Park Cities. And so I feel very honored that that group would honor me. It's humbling.